Good afternoon, everyone. You know something? I'm not really going to give a topic to what I want to say today. I'm just going to call it a history lesson. I'm going to let you decide for yourself what any of what I'm about to say means. Let you decide for yourself. Now, I was online today and I went, back in 85, I signed up to be a U.S. Marine. We were in the middle of the Cold War. I wanted to go fight Russia. You know, those communist bastards. Communism fell. Didn't know it, but it did. And I'd read everything about it before, but I'm like, let's go on and find the definitive reasons why communism fell. So I went to a website here, and I'm going to read this for you. This is a combination of Wikipedia, government stuff. The question was, why did communism in the Soviet Union collapse? The answer was, among other things, was rampant internal corruption. Sound familiar? Let me go on. Question, why did the Soviet Union stop communism? Answer, they were broke. Next question, what contributed to the fall of the Soviet Union? Answer, it was an unequal exchange of goods and services. The government was basically enforcing slave labor. You know, like allowing people to work for a lot less money than they should. So as we go through this, I came across a question. Let me find it because I think you are going to like it. What were the things that led up to the collapse of the Soviet Union? The Soviet Union based their structure that all people were treated equally. They were all paid the same amount of work, but not for they were all paid the same amount of money, but not for the same amount of work. They expected overachievers to achieve more to be able to give money to those who could not achieve. Well, how many people in this world are going to work harder if it's not for themselves? Really, no one. Sure, there's a lot of people out there that do things for charities. I do that myself. I give to others as much as I can. But if you're going to tell me we're going to cut your pay by 50% so somebody else who does nothing gets the same pay as you when they may be able-bodied, well, that's wrong. That's why the communist system fell. Too many people were like, boy, I worked my butt off. I can't reap my own rewards? How can a country basically tell you you need to pay more? How can a country say, well, you may have a business, but it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to us. How can a country say, well, yeah, you have children you're trying to raise the right way to be the best, but they don't belong to you, they belong to us? That's why communism fell. I mean, because you think about it, in a common sense mode, that's the dumbest thing you could ever hear, isn't it? I'm trying to pull up a page here. It says most people know that communism is at its most basic level. Simply put, communism is the idea that everyone in a given society receives equal shares of the benefits derived from labor. Communism is designed to allow poor to rise up and attain financial and social status equal to that of the middle-class landowners. In order for everyone to achieve equality, wealth is redistributed so that members of the upper class are brought down to the same financial and social levels as the middle class. Man, I mean, no wonder why communism fell. Who can possibly live in anything like that? I mean, to say that these people that build their businesses, well, they're not really their businesses, are they? They're, let's see.
If you've been successful, you didn't get there on your own. You didn't get there on your own. I'm always struck by people who think, well, it must be because I was just so smart. There are a lot of smart people out there. It must be because I worked harder than everybody else. Let me tell you something. There are a whole bunch of hard-working people out there.
Oh, keep listening.
If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help.
Wasn't because of you.
There was a great teacher somewhere in your life.
Not your fault.
Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we had that allowed you to thrive.
Allowed you.
Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, that you didn't build that.
No?
Somebody else made that happen.
Ah, see, interesting, ain't it? You didn't build that. Your company's not yours. You may worked your butt off and got to where you are and made a financial success of yourself, but you didn't do that. How dare you take credit for your success, right? You've got to teach your children. You can't raise your children to say, son, if you work hard, this is what's going to happen. You can't do that because your children, do they belong to you? I'm not sure.
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
Really? I didn't realize that when I gave birth, the child was a community's. Because the community never dropped off diapers at my house. The community never changed diapers. The community never fed the child. The community never read them stories or made sure they got up to go to school or gave them money or bought them clothes or kept them happy. The community never did that, but the children belong to the community? It's amazing. You know, there was Timothy Geithner once talked about the role. Now, again, American legislator, the freest society in the world. We're all about capitalism. We're completely far away from communism. And he said that the rich need to pay more so the poor people can be better, but they should pay more money for the privilege of being an American. You see, apparently it's a privilege to be an American. Well, he was sat down in front of a select board in front of Westmoreland, and he asked him a couple of questions. And
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
let you hear it.
Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here. I can't imagine what it's like to get up 3 or 4 days a month to know you're going to have to come up to the Hill and get a little bit grilled. So I do admire you for the courage and the stamina that you've got. While we're talking about taxes, you had said previously that being an American is a privilege.
Sorry, my dog.
And that wealthy Americans should pay more just for being an American. And
Not nice.
do you still believe that?
I believe, as does the president, there is no plausible way for us to address the many economic challenges facing the country, including our unsustainable fiscal deficits, without asking those most fortunate few to pay a modestly higher percentage of their income in taxes. I do believe that.
See, so because you're privileged to be an American, you weren't born an American. You were privileged to be an American. Wow. Unfortunately, we have people coming into this country right now that are given more than people that are born into this country. Do you realize we have poor people living on the streets who don't have enough money to eat, who don't have a place to sleep? They sleep in the goddamn bushes. Yet if you're illegal and you come into this country, you're given housing, you're given food stamps, you're given welfare immediately. In California, you're given a driver's license. We can't take care of our own people, yet we're giving illegals whatever they want, while our own Americans sleep on the streets. I started this whole thing out, let me get back into this, and we talked about why it was that communism fell. And it kind of came out right then and there that communism is a society where no one gets to be high or low. Everyone's in the middle. They want certain people to work their ass off so we can take money away from them and make the poor people just as good. Now, I want you to know, as I say this, I'm one of the poor people, all right? I don't make enough to cover my bills. I don't make enough to cover all of the expenses I have. But I bust my ass and I make do. There are people out there that are rich. Boy, I wish I had their money. But you know something? I'm not entitled to it because I did not do the things they did to get in their position. And how dare any of us attack somebody who fought hard and made it just because we didn't? Communism. It's set up where everyone is equal. Everyone gets the same pay and the same benefits no matter how hard you work. If that's the case, how many people will stop working? If everyone's the same no matter what, then what is the benefit of working hard? And when there's no benefit to working hard, people stop working. People stop working, the economic system collapses. And your country, Soviet Union, United States of America, falls. Wake up. Republicans, wrong answer. Democrats, wrong answer. All they care about is themselves and none of the people that they call their constituents. It's time for America to stop being stupid. It's time for America to pull their heads out of their asses and understand that they need something new. Someone who's going to take the best ideas from both parties, throw away the bullshit from both parties, and actually run a country that we can be proud of again. I am proud to be a United States Marine. I'm still proud to be an American, but I am certainly not proud of my government or the way my country is right now.